Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. It's great to see you all here tonight. I'm really excited about the guests that we have on tonight and the three different teams we're going to be dissecting a little bit more this evening. Yep, we're in Series 2. Obviously, this is our Series 2, tied to Season 5 that starts in just mere weeks away from kickoff for Week 1. This is Episode 3. Thanks for your support so far in these three. We hope we have big things planned for the rest of this series as we get into the regular season. Thank you, Daniel, for verifying that my voice is coming through loud and clear. Daniel's was sick. He had COVID over the weekend. His throat's being a little uncooperative, so he's going to take a little bit of break during the early part. Normally he joins me right away. He's going to come in a little bit later, save his voice for the dissecting of the teams, the breaking down. So instead, and joining me for from start to finish tonight is our good friend Derek Meerkat. Derek, how are you tonight?
Doing fantastic.
That is great to hear. You're coming from your basement, you had mentioned?
I'm coming from the basement.
Sweet. Is that where you get the best signal?
The Meerkat Den, as I'll call it.
Obviously, it's probably halfway underground, just like meerkats tend to, and Minnesotans tend to live in the basement.
Exactly.
Cool. Thanks again for coming on. You're going to be joining us this Friday, ideally, right? Is that?
Yep.
Awesome. I'm really excited. We've got our final preseason game between Albuquerque and Lexington. Should be a really fun time. All right. So before we get kicked off with the team breakdowns, we're going to talk to two more minor league players to kick this off. So I'd like to welcome, first we have the Madison Lynx linebacker, Jon Fowler, as well as the Albuquerque Adams defensive tackle, Neal Rivers. Neal, how are you tonight?
Great. Hey, how you doing? Not too bad.
Excellent. Good to hear. All right. So we have a couple questions for you, just to really sort of get to know you guys, have some simple conversation. It's always nice to be able to give people a little look behind who these players are, especially when you're new, starting out, trying to get some of the attention from owners, trying to get attention from GMs, making a name for yourself, especially as we're waiting for the regular season to kick off. So I'm wondering, we'll start with you, Jon. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Jon Fowler?
Whoa, Axel, it's a good question. No, I work at Freddy's Kroger as a cashier, part-time, so I can still watch my boys. I have two boys, Isaiah and Alexander Fowler. Really all I do. But other than that, I work out, and then I also I've been in this league. If no one really realized, I've been in the league for a long time, and I've seen the growth and how well the league has come a long ways. It's amazing. But back to me. But yeah, I'm just your average dad, I should say. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like I've seen you post a photo of one of your kids. Did they recently have a birthday? Right.
Yeah, Alexander recently just turned 4 on March 31st, and
wow.
My other son turns 2 May 31st this year.
Wow, that's quite a handful.
Oh Lordy, tell me about it.
Cool. Neal, how about you? Tell us a little bit about who Neal Rivers is.
Well, like Jon, I've got two kids, a little older than his, I think, from talking to him before on the chat and stuff. I have a 14-year-old son and 13-year-old daughter.
Okay.
I get them every chance I get. Love the heck out of them. They're good kids for the most part. I mean, they're teenagers, so they can test my patience at times. But all in all, good kids. Good. Live here in Texas. Grew up in a very small town here in Texas. Of course, growing up in a small town in Texas, sports is was huge. I mean, there's nothing else to do, but I mean, sports was the thing. It was huge. I pretty much played everything from little league, little dribblers, all the way to junior high, high school. Played everything: tennis, football, basketball, you name it. I'm from a pretty decent sized family. I got 6 brothers and sisters. From a farming community, so I learned a pretty early age. My dad was a farmer, so learned about work ethic and how important that is. And nowadays, I work at a warehouse. I've been there for like 20 some odd years.
Okay.
And a few weeks ago, I found SFL, and now I'm here with you guys. So glad to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing you were going to pick up your kids or getting them last Friday, and I was like, same. I get mine. I have two. My son is 14. My daughter is will be turning 11 next week. So kind of
Wow.
similar situation. Get them every other weekend, and love the heck out of
Yeah.
them and things. And I do know that there's a lot of Texas people in the server too. You'd be worthwhile maybe say, hey, anybody else from Texas or what part of Texas or things. So
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't done that. I'll have to do that for sure.
cool. So Neal, what has been your SFL journey like so far? Yeah, it's been pretty short. You said just a few weeks ago you found the SFL. How'd
Yeah.
you find it? What is has it been like for you so far?
So far, it's gone really well. The chat is great. People have been really helpful with any questions I've had. I've had a lot of questions, obviously, and just being able to chat with people from all walks of life is good. You can always learn from. I'm always up for learning from people, from different people, and how I came across the SFL. I guess about 3 weeks ago, I had just dropped off the kids, came back home, was just flipping the channels, and I've never seen the channel before. NXT or Next, or that channel, and I seen this video game on, and I was like, what is this? I probably said, "What is this?" about 500 times during that game, like, and then hearing the live announcers and how good they were. I mean, these weren't just that announcers were so good, and it piqued my curiosity and interest to like no end. For like the next week, I was watching everything I could possibly watch on Simulation Football League, YouTube, the website. I was going all over the place. I was like a sponge, just trying to learn. And the next week, I watched it again when it was on, and I think after the first game is whenever I joined. So
Very cool.
very pumped up about it.
I had that very similar experience of finding it on a random channel and being like, "What is this?" And I went directly to the site and like, trying to figure out what are all these teams and things. I used to be NFL. What was it? NFL Europe. There was like the Frankfurt, Germany, and other things. Or German.
Right? Yeah, I used to watch that.
The Galaxy there. Yeah, it feels sort of like that, or like there's arena football and other things and stuff. It felt
Right.
sort of like that at first. And I'm like, wait, I can join. I can have a player. Wait, I'm 41. I'm well past the age of being able to be out on the field,
Right.
actually. But it gives me an opportunity to do that. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
the whole thing is it's fascinating to me. I'm loving it for real.
That's good to hear. So Jon, your journey, this is sort of a refresh, sort of like a phoenix rising from the ashes kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about, who the previous Jon Fowler or Trusman, right, was, and what your minor league journey so far the last couple weeks has been like.
Well, let's go with I was John Trusman before I switched to Jon Fowler because yes, the first name was right, but the last name wasn't my last name. I
Okay.
wanted to put my last name into something like this.
Cool.
So it was one of kind thing to do. But the transition's amazing. I'm fullback. Don't get me wrong. I miss it. I miss pancake some people. The growth from seeing the league itself while being fullback compared to now turning to a linebacker. Like I was reminiscing earlier, like I remember where I think season 14 is when I joined officially. Uh, I think the season after that is when they added the minors, or the second season 16 or 15. I don't know which one, but dude, you guys grown to something amazing, and plus seeing all the content this league had since then to now, just amazing. But and then my experience in the locker room for the rookies, it's amazing, man. Lynx is a big shout out to the Madison Lynx. Big group. They support each other. We support each other on, off field, with other teams. Like, give mad respect to y'all. Same with all the minors, y'all. You guys are putting in work, doing your thing, just to do what you want to do. Have fun, you know? That's all it is. Have fun, and it's amazing just to see everything unfold the way it has been through the. Let's say I've almost been in league almost between 3 or 4 years now,
Okay.
and just seeing the growth is just amazing.
I'm sure just night and day. I mean, if you think about it, yeah. I like even progressions have changed a lot in the time that I've even been here, just a little over
I
a
remember the bit
year,
era.
right? The you had to like do bits in Twitch or
Oh, you had to buy. No, you had to buy bits. I remember when I first joined, you had to buy bits. Like you had to buy the bits to upgrade your player. If anyone's in the honestly in the chat that understands where I'm coming from, you're a real OG. Like, and also how to become a pro at that time was different as well. Like, you, I remember you had to take over somebody's progression. If they missed progressions back in the day, that's how I got to be the Fury's fullback when I first started. Uh, the progressions like came season after, I believe, the beginning of season 15. But to get to be a player, like I said, you had to jump on somebody's. The coaches had to post out a link on, say, we need this, like a fullback, linebacker, safety, and the first one, I believe it was first come first serve type of thing. So
Okay.
you had to kind of get in there and get your name in there at the time, throw your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was crazy. And now to see everything else go from that to progressions, kind of similar season 15, 16. I feel like it was the same way, but not as bad. But then added the minors, that's what changed it all. And
Yeah.
that's the main.
Awesome. Derek, you have some questions.
Ew. For the first one, I think I'll change it up a little bit. So, Jon, what made you decide to go to linebacker? I know you mentioned that it was your position that you wanted to begin with. What drew you to that spot so much?
I mean, I was in high school. I was the dog on the like an outside linebacker dog, where they play linebacker, but they also go for the quarterback in a way, like an outside linebacker. It's hard to explain it, but if you know
Yeah.
football, you know what I mean.
Yep.
And I've always wanted to do that and something like this. Like since I very first joined, I remember I hit up Ethan Kai and the Hyenas owner the very first. It did the very first time I joined, and then I looked at the Las Vegas Fury posted a thing saying they needed a fullback. And I was like, should I do it? Should I take this option? Should I take this risk and just be a fullback and not go for linebacker? And I went for the risk, and then been a fullback since until now. And then I've just wanted to be a linebacker, go back to what I really wanted to be on as a defensive player.
Right on. Neal, same question for you. What made you decide to want to be a defensive tackle?
Basically, growing up from junior high to high school, I played offensive tackle and defensive tackle. So that's just something that I've always liked. I've liked the idea of playing down in the trenches, getting down and dirty in the trenches, and the whole concept of controlling the line of scrimmage, I think, goes a long way in a football game. And if you control that line of scrimmage, more likely than not, you're going to win the game. So that's what attracts me to that.
All right, next question for you, Neal. What do you hope to accomplish this season in the minors?
Oh, basically, I just want to be a team player. I'm going to be on the Albuquerque team. Hopefully, as a team, we do well as a team, and then all the individual stuff will happen. We're in the minors, so
Yeah.
you want to get to the pros. That's the goal. And if the team does well, then that means everyone's playing well, and we'll be that much closer to the goal of going pro. Individual goals are important, I think, but I believe the team aspect first, because the team can be a springboard of sorts to things individually. Yeah, kind of understand what I'm trying to say.
Good answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same question for you, John.
Well, honestly, I'm with Neal here, man.
Yeah.
Like the fleet will tell you, the fear would tell you, I'm a team player, man. Like I'll give big shout out to the Portland Fleet. I'll always be original for them. Love you guys no matter what. Hope you all do good from here on out. But I'm a team player, man. Like if somebody is down low, I'm a positive player too. Like in my mind, I always think stay happy and positive, no matter what. Always be happy and positive, because what if you're happy at the time and you're positive, and no matter if you're talking in a Discord, chatting with people, walking to a store, going to work, going to school, and just saying, hey, stay happy, positive, have a great day. You never know how much day how better you can make that person's day without realizing it. And it's just good energy to have in general, realistically, because I'm a positive and happy guy, man. You could probably already see it in the server, but I am a team player majorly, but I still want to kick some ass. Oh, I'm not gonna cuss, but I still want to kick some butt. That's
Yeah.
it, I think.
You want me to ask more questions or what?
If you want
Go
to,
ahead.
sure, go
Go
for it.
Um, John, what are you looking for in a major league team and pro team?
Me,
Yeah.
Major League and Pro Team,
Yeah.
family
What are you
vibes,
looking for in a team?
family vibes, bro. Win or lose, be there to pick each other up no matter what. Yeah, I know losing's not hard. It's never hard to lose, but it's like not hard to have good sportsmanship. Not hard to forgive and forget, and move on, like, and pick each other up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know people, mental health is a big thing. You know what I mean? Even in a game situation, mental health is a big thing. Picking that person up when they're down is always a good thing. Um, and as well as that's basically it. Family vibe and just being there for one another. And just brothers, sisters in arms. That's basically what I look for.
Well, you, Neal.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing that John said. One that a team that works well together to achieve a goal and be successful. Gets along through great times and tough times, and always supportive, uh, and have some fun.
That's all I got, Axel.
Awesome, cool. Thank you so much. Great job, Neal. Do you have any final or parting words? Any shout outs or anything you'd like to say before we go tonight?
I guess I'll just say, best part for me, uh, being a part of this. I mean, I've only been here 2 weeks. I haven't even played it down or anything. I mean, but best part has just been learning all I can. I mean, either through the website, like I said earlier, and YouTube, and because the SFL is pretty awesome. I mean, I just wish I would have found it sooner.
Absolutely.
And go Albuquerque. Let's go win some games.
Awesome. Cool. And John, any final words or shout outs for you?
Oh, dude, lordy. Okay, where do I begin? Big shout out to Axel and Derek for allowing me to be here. Big shout out to SFL for doing amazing like they always have. Big shout out to Portland Fleet for being just they were there for me when I during some times. So big shout out to them. I always love them no matter what. Big shout out to all those expansion teams coming into play. I hope you all get what you want. I hope you guys achieve your dream to be a pro team owner. I hope you guys really do get it. Big shout out to Madison Lynx, y'all. Y'all better be ready for the big games coming up. We're gonna take back-to-back championships. Calling it now. We're gonna stomp y'all. Sorry, Neal. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
come
but
on, man. We got you. We got
Bad respect, but Lynx is coming back-to-back championships, dog.
you.
Hashtag Lynx up.
Let's go. Let's go. Bring
And
it.
then
I love
Yes.
that, the respectful banter back and forth a little bit. Good job.
and
And Axel, I just want to say
yeah.
thanks for the opportunity as well, for sure.
Absolutely, and the extension, I'd like to extend, invitation to both of you. Anytime you want to come back, whether that's to talk about a game that you just had the week
Always.
before, or talk about a game that's upcoming, just to simply to say hi, or to analyze other games. Where the door's open. Just and that goes for anybody out there watching as well. You want to be involved in the show? Reach out. That's all you got to do, and we'll get you booked, get you on, do an interview. You could co-host, etc. So opportunities there for you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. And I hope the best for both of you. Neal, good luck on the game Friday. I'll be rooting for you and the other team as well. I have to be unbiased, but should be fun. Should be a fun game. So,
All right. Looking forward to it, guys.
all right. Good night to you both.
That guys.
Happy
Good night.
4th of y'all.
All right.
Later.
So that means we're moving on to. We're going to bring Daniel in. Daniel, I hope you're ready. Are you ready? Drum roll.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, there
Yes.
he is. There he is.
Mr. COVID himself is ready to do this. See how it goes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Sick or not sick, you're always a good person to have on here as well. And thank you, Derek, for asking in here, asking some questions and getting on here. I hope you're having a little bit of fun seeing
I'm having fun.
how easy it is. It's not too hard. We're just sitting here.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even
Chatting.
worry about it at all. You got my job now. I'm not going to be here next week.
I don't need to be here next week. No. We could ask Jon and Neal to join us. So, anyways, we've got 3 teams to break down. Last week we did the Flight, we did Ottawa, and we did Tacoma. And I've still got those if we need to pull them out and take a look at them. We can take a look at them again if we want to do that. But we're working through Lincoln, Madison, and Annapolis today. Derek, we're going to talk about your Annapolis team. Even though you're on Madison now, kind of, right?
Yeah.
It's helping us out over there. All right, so we'll start with Lincoln. So Lincoln Rattlesnakes, headed up by Mike All this year. This is sort of the reincarnation of Salt Lake City, I believe, and a few other teams sort of amalgamated into this as well. So yeah, we see Kenny Slider, Logan Lee. I remember he had a pretty good game during the preseason game this last month, I believe it was, when they played. I'm blanking. Not the Flight. Tacoma. They played Tacoma. So yeah, they've got Kenny Slider, Logan Lee, wide receiver Lottie Lou is coming back on two-way player. Similarly with Brian Murphy on tight end coming back. They've got defensive tackle, a defensive end, a pair of linebackers. They've got their solid 6 DBs, so that's 2 cornerbacks, 2 free safeties, and 2 strong safeties. And Frankie Custer, that's the name that sort of stands out here for the Rattlesnakes, coming back for, I'm not sure if this is his 2nd or 3rd season in the minors, but he's a gold right now out there. And I believe his daughter, Frankie Lynn Custer, is a cornerback for them. Derek, looking at this, do you have any thoughts where they might be extra strong or how you think they might do this season?
Well, looking at it right now, clearly the secondary is their strong point. They're pretty stacked in that secondary. But yeah, I think they should be able to be pretty good. I know Lottie Lou is a phenomenal player as well. But I think their secondary with all those players in it, I think is definitely going to help them.
Awesome. And Daniel, what's your take on this team?
Well, obviously, as a secondary guy myself as well, I'm going to look at Frank Custer. I'm going to say that's the third year right there. Because that's gold. You don't get gold in your first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I'm still bronze in the major leagues.
we got two safeties right here with us. Yeah.
So I'm going to actually talk about the fact you said it in the preseason game. Logan Lee played really well. He's silver 88. That's not too bad. And Kenny Slider, the Lincoln Rattlesnakes actually got a good thing because they're a new team coming in. So they got what teams faded out. So essentially, you got like a mix of teams that faded out. So they didn't get all just new players. Kenny Slider's been in the league. I think this might be his second year in it. And he had a pretty good season last season. So I think this team is sneaky good. A lot of games will be decided on how many interceptions they get, stuff like that. But I can see them running the ball and then having Kenny Slider in the pass into Lailu on the short yards, I think will be really well for them.
Okay. So a pretty solid, like standard producing offense, and then just a take no prisoners defense, I assume. Yeah, I remember, so Sabo Kanan is, a pretty decent outside linebacker. He's going to be able to cover those flats a little bit pretty well, getting in there, tackling the running game, or helping out with the running game, really finishing the tackles that maybe the defensive tackle or defensive end start and, get that first hit. Or if Matthias Citrion, gets that first hit, and then he's going to be there to sort of gang pile on them to tackle. I also want to call out Skippy Curtis, a brand new. She just joined the league, I believe, yesterday or the day before. You're seeing her in both the SFL General chat. People welcoming her as well as in the introduction channel as well. Exciting to see her join in as a quarterback in there as well. And yeah, Frankie Lynn Custer coming in with a father like Frankie Custer, helping to progress, and I'm sure has that experience to provide and have a lot of fun. I'm sure sharing the team. Derek and his wife Angela were not able to be on the same team last season 4. They actually battled each other. Was sort of a fun game. We're not now they're on the same side of the ball for Mexico City, so that's exciting. I agree. I think they're going to be, it's if the offensive coordinating, if they can get the right offensive game plan, there's nothing too, shocking that this offense should be able to produce with good defensive game planning. They should be able to dominate most offenses. Again, we'll be talking about Annapolis in a little bit with their secret weapon, not so secret weapon.
Speaking about the Navigators, I think of this team as the Navigators last season. Like they were almost like a dark horse, right? Their defense we knew were really good, but we didn't know how good their offense was last season until Squarebus went off. He just went downtown, took it to everyone. And I can see this team being similar, right? Their defense is really good. We know their defense is going to be good. Let's see what the offense does.
Yep. All right. So we'll move on to then Madison. Oops. I hit the wrong button. There we go. Madison. Perfect. There we go. So we got Madison here. I know Madison pretty well, being their offensive coordinator now. Last year, also underneath Jacob Clear, who's now the head coach over at Annapolis. But yeah, Madison, we've got our two wide receivers, Charlie Baker, Adrian Ellis, coming back for another round as two-way contract players. We've got Xander Moon, which is a really solid quarterback. He's really tall, has a really good ability to read coverage, and throws a really nice pass. I think we'll be utilizing those wide receivers, especially those second year wide receivers coming in, and Ron Haynes, really tall, big target out there for tight end, and then Jay Warren as a guard, able to sort of secure that corner, that edge on the left side for Marcus Duncan, coming in as I want to say this is his third year as a running back, getting close, I'm sure, to silver there. And then on the defense, we've got defensive tackle and defensive end. So it's similar to Lincoln with that, a pair of linebackers, a pair of cornerbacks, 2 free safeties, and a solo strong safety back there as well. Again, Matthew Alvarado came in early last year, really hitting the progression strong there. So he's going to be a big powerhouse out there, holding down the center. Again, we talked about Jon Fowler just earlier, playing in the outside linebacker role, just coming in a couple weeks, 3 weeks now, I think, in there. So each week he'll be getting better. And that's the other thing that's really fun about the minor leagues. Like, we may be talking about these players and these games, these rosters right now, but 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, especially as individuals that are silver or gold continue to add some animations, or their copper players are boosting +5 or +8 to their different attributes, it's going to be a totally dynamic roster and teams that we'll be playing week in, week out for the next few months. Derek, what is your assessment of the Madison Lynx?
Looking at them, I think the offense is gonna keep him in any game. I think last year's draft, I think if there would have been 3 quarterback spots open in the draft, I think Xander would have been the third one. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the SFL right now. So I think their offense is going to keep him in the game. There's a lot of new players on defense, so I think that's where they might struggle. But if their offense just keeps scoring points, that they'll stay in games.
Mm-hmm. And Daniel, what's your assessment?
They have one of the best names I've ever seen in SFL, and Joe Boo McSlim. I'm just going to put that name out there once again. But besides that, it's definitely going to be offense, right? Defense they lost all their talent in drafts. It's going to be about the offense. Alvarado is going to be good. We've seen him in preseason. He was actually the name that stood out the most in preseason that on the defensive side. So he's gonna have to stand on his head. He's almost in the same field that Earl Fields from Tacoma was last season. But offensively, they got two-way wide receivers coming back. That's going to be huge on offense. I think that's going to be the big boon on this team if they want to get back to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, I said it earlier. Like, I think this is just going to be a solid all-around offense. I think last year, the situation was the defense kept the Lynx in the games until their offense was able to produce. Hopefully, we're going to be able to change up the game plan a little bit this year and be able to, get this offense rolling a little bit more with the game plan. Jen, it looks like you might have something to say.
Not too much.
Okay.
Once more, I think it's just going to be all on the offense.
Okay. I wasn't sure. You were twisting your head like you might have had like something to say. Okay.
No, that could be just the body causing me pain as we slowly move on. So don't worry too much about me.
You're slowly dying inside. No, I that's the thing. So that's the other thing that I'll mention too. So not only do we have dynamic rosters changing every week, we also have the influx of new coaches coming in season after season, and different skill levels and experience from that. Like myself, just starting off last September or October in doing assistant offensive coordinating, and now stepping into that more since the first of the year, learning a lot and things. And again, that's something that anybody on any of these teams, I believe, like Lincoln was going to be having Lottie Liu as their defensive coordinator. I'm not sure exactly if that was something that I had heard earlier on. I was not sure the current status of that. But if you're wanting to get involved, if you want to be a scout, if you want to learn how to scout, I know Ron Haynes on the Madison is interested in doing that. We had put together a sort of a training, basic how-to scout video that's out on the Axel Raven SFL, Axel Raven YouTube channel out there for the Minor League Fights and Insights on YouTube. I think this is a solid offense. I think it's a rising, hungry defense. So we'll see how hungry they go. And we've got Jaden Swift. I know, Daniel, you're familiar with Jaden for the Lynx.
I thank him for everything he has done for me this season, because I would not be anywhere without him. So trust on Swift.
All right, so next, our final team this evening that we're going to analyze, and then we'll come back and we'll do some ratings and talk a little bit about how they might stack up with the other teams and things. So our final team is the Annapolis Navigators. So here we've got Jacob Clear, offensive coordinator, coming from the Lynx over here to head coach for the Navigators, putting together just a completely new front office for the team. We've got Gene Struthers coming in, returning from last season, as well as the end of the season before. So this will be his his third season. So he'll have 2.5 seasons under his belt. We've got, like you said, Daniel, Randy Squarebush, the not so secret weapon, who's just really a freight train coming down the field. Orain Darby at wide receiver, really solid wide receiver out there. Jerry Degon coming in. We saw him getting back to his safety roots from, I believe he plays defensive tackle for Fort Worth. Currently out in the pros as a two-way player, but still holds on to his free safety player here in the Navigators. I'm sure there's a lot of weight loss, cutting, and things in between the games, but yeah, we've got Reggio Dinero. We saw him really ball out a little bit out in the last preseason game. He was money out there on the field. Sorry about the pun.
He's not sorry. That's a lie. He's not sorry. But he really did cash in when he needed to in that game.
Boom, boom. Oh, there's Daniel too. They've got Kai Avery at wide receiver, tight end Lachlan Martin. Similarly, pair of defensive linemen, pair of linebackers, pair of cornerbacks, pair of strong safeties, and one free safety out there with Icy Clark. Tyson Thorne, we've seen him in chat a variety of times, pretty active out there. Rachel Menner, we mentioned, she is new to the league, just a few weeks in now. She is the wife of Corey Menner that we know on CHS in the pros. And Marco Million, paired with Reggio Dinero, is, you can't write this stuff. Goodness. What do you think about this team, Derek, compared to last season?
Well, I mean, obviously Randy is probably just going to run over people again. But I think we'll probably see a big change in Struthers this year. I know last year there was quite a few games where he struggled, but I think that it won't have to be all on Randy's shoulders this year. Watch out for Darby. I mean, towards the end of the year last year, that man, whenever he got open deep, it was it. We called him Deep That Darby for a reason. And then gone towards the end of the year last year too. He was all over the field. I know last year he actually got the SFL record for most forced fumbles. There's only 2, but
that's a record nonetheless.
Yeah.
Cool. That's one thing that you mentioned, Darby, and I didn't really make the connection. Both. So we've got Darby as a two-way player coming in. We've also got 2 wide receivers that are fresh to this non two-way players. So that makes 3 wide receiver targets on top of the tight end. This is something that's brand new this season, with actually just brand new the last week or so, with the expectation of 4 new expansion teams opening up. And so many of these two-way players are wide receivers, holding down those wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 spots out on teams in the pros, that they, to make sure that there's enough wide receivers to be drafted for these new teams. They opened it up for teams to now have 3 wide receivers. So that could actually change a lot of what the game style is like, and be able to, have, more of those spread, or feeling more comfortable with even some of those quad type of plays out there, on top of having just instead of just having 2 wide receivers and a tight end, getting that third receiver out there, I think could change up the type of game plan that we see out there. And it's just a matter of time. I think the Navigators might be the only team right now that has the 3rd wide receiver, but I'm sure as we continue, those are going to be getting snapped up, especially once, the regular season starts. They start airing on YouTube and Twitch and things. Actually, I think YouTube is the main spot for the chat or the games, I believe. Anyways, I think that's a big game changer. Daniel,
Yeah, I think it'll.
Oh, sorry. Derek.
I think it'll help because last year being on the team, I noticed the games because we lost. They were undefeated last year, and then they lost. And I think the problem was when Randy was shut down. That was it. But I think with having 3 receivers, 2 tight ends, I think they'll be able to change game plans if they think that they need to.
Yeah, and we've progression started for the minor league January 15th ish or so, and we're almost getting close. We're inching our way to April 6th, 15th, tax day. That's what, three solid months times 4 weeks. That's 11 or 12 weeks that have already gone by that Gene Struthers has been able to progress, incrementing those, the accuracy and passing strength and read coverage and things that for himself that, again, he, for how, as solid as he was, again, or as ebb and flow as he was, I guess you could say, last season, he should be able to round out some of what he was working on then to become an all-around player. Daniel, your take on this team?
Yeah, before I do that, Jules Mason Jr. pointed out that the Grizz also got 3 wide receivers right now.
So, gotcha. I'm gonna go pull
including Shane Kaufman, the 2-way player, obviously, that we know and love.
We must.
But I'll talk a bit about the preseason game, and what really opened my eyes was Orain Darby didn't get the looks that we normally would expect to see from him, especially deep. It was all about Reggio De Niro, the cast man himself, let's say. He almost got 100 yards catching in a preseason game, and he's not even the number 1 wide receiver, right? He's the number 2. To do that in a preseason game where there's no playbooks, we're just doing generic stuff, is mind-boggling. So I'm expecting a big season from him. And the other point I want to point out is Jared Egon is coming back as a free safety, not the position he has in the pros. And he's keeping the stats he had for the free safety before he got drafted and switched. So he does have his free safety stat going into this.
Correct.
So I expect another big thing from him coming into it. This team is scary good. I think they're going to have to be more offensive than defensive. That's the ebb and flow of the minor league season, right? If you're good defensively one season, you're going to get those picks drafted, and then you're going to have to do it differently. So, but with the way Reggio De Niro and Gene Struthers had that connection in the preseason, I say the coaches have already looked at that and are ready to go with that as well, with Orain Darby as that deep threat. I expect a lot of high scoring from this team, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, Orain is not the tallest wide receiver out there. I think he's maybe only 5'11", maybe even shorter. But I think because of that, he's also a little bit thinner. And with a max speed and a max agility, he can probably zoom right past some of these copper or bronze cornerbacks that might struggle to contain a speedy receiver like him. Especially during routes that, different fade or arrow routes that send him up, around the back and up past them. I also, commenting that, Dan, you talked about wide receiver 2 getting more looks, Gene Struthers throwing more dimes to De Niro than to Darby last preseason. Thinking back to the Tacoma game as well, Shane Kaufman did not get as many looks as T to Queen, I think, did. And T had a little bit better of a game. And we might have talked about this, that, obviously wide receiver 1 is going to be going up against CB1. And so they might be a little bit more equally matched versus, T to Queen. The wide receiver spots might have been taken and have more progressions in than the CB2 role as well. So that might be, something to consider. And then when we look at, wide receiver 3 being covered by who knows based on the defensive, is it zone, is it man, based on the nickel coverage maybe, or something that's out there when they might be out there, being covered by a copper free safety or strong safety, or even perhaps an outside linebacker, inside linebacker. might be an interesting matchup out there.
Yeah, this is a new layer to the minor leagues, right? Third wide receiver. We never had that before. Maybe someday in the future we'll have a third corner going into next season.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are changes that we are expecting as we evolve. The pros evolve, SFL as a whole evolve. We all just got to keep adapting, and this is a good wrinkle, I think, because last season was the wrinkle of a third season. People can come back, so this is another new wrinkle. I like this wrinkle. I like to see more from this. See what happens.
One thing I also would love to call out too, and just simply looking at what we talked about last week, or with looking at the teams that we did last week, and these three, so that's 6 of the 8 that we've talked through. Madison and the Grizzlies both have a offensive lineman, and there was, I think, more recently there's a third OL that has come in, and I believe she plays on the Adams. I'm building the rosters for the game Friday, so I have this in my memory. I'm trying to recall this. One of those unsung heroes out there that we don't see as often. Recently also, I think. Do you know what? I'm not sure what team he ended up on. Jamarcus Candy is coming back, or was able to come back. So he joined yesterday, I believe. I don't know if
he's a minor now. I believe he's a minor
now. No, minor leaguer, right? No, a Lexington minor. So he'll be out there as well then on Friday, which will be exciting. The other thing is we have a lot more defensive linemen than we had last season. And I think even much more than we had in season 3 when Daniel and I were in the minor leagues as well. It was pretty rare in the season 3 that we saw. There might have only been a small handful of defensive linemen in season 3. And then last year, I think in general, each team maybe had one defensive end, roughly, not very many defensive tackles. And so, during the draft, there was a lot of, pro teams looking to move linebackers into that defensive tackle or defensive end role, because they tend to be very needed. And I think, it's great seeing most of these teams having 2 defensive linemen. It's really exciting. I'm excited to see maybe more will be joining. I'd love to see more offensive linemen come in, as well as the wide receiver 3s that are coming in as well.
I think it's the one thing that you might see guys like Randy Squarebush having more of an issue is last year, like you said, there wasn't a lot of guys in the middle, and this year there will be. So running through those middles and running through those defensive tackles won't be as easy when you got contracted defensive tackles.
Yep. And if you've got a bronze linebacker, inside linebacker to, coordinate with that defensive tackle and get on him. We saw some of that. It was I'd say Randy sort of, I wouldn't say fully struggled, but he didn't have, he wasn't a breakout runner from the first, from the shotgun sound to start the game in the preseason game. But again, I think it might have been his workhorse animation that was really getting the better of the Lynx as the second quarter, and then the third and the fourth. By the fourth, he was leaving tread marks on people's faces. So, Daniel, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna point out that what you just said specifically about last season about people having to move from spots to fill up the defensive tackle and defensive end. That's a big commodity, and with expansion coming up, that's 4 new teams, which means a lot more of that need comes into play next season as well for people that want to move up to their pros. So that was just something to look at as well going into the future.
Absolutely. We did sort of the rough math of like 4 brand new teams coming in last week. We talked about that. 4 times 23 is 92. Maybe something like that. It was in the 90s. I think it's in the 90s. I don't have a calculator. I'm trying to do this.
Right. You got it right.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
92. All right. So yeah, 92, and we're probably inching our way towards giving or taking a few players. I think we're in the 95 range right now for the minor league. And again, like I said, as soon as the regular season starts, and the games start airing, and people who are new to it see that and be like, I could join right now and I could be out on the field the very next Friday. I think that's a big plus, a big benefit, and I think that's going to change people's mind and want to join. And again, it's my wife joined last season in the minor league. She tried it out. It wasn't for her, but it was I think $3 times three, $9 commitment to join for the minor league season to try it out. Super cheap for to be able to have a fun experience and things. And if you are into it, all the better, right? So that's really exciting. All right. So last week we rated the 3 teams in which ones we thought were best, medium, and the not 1 or 2. I don't want to say worst because that's not what we're meaning at all. It's out of the 3, how would you rank them? Curious on how Derek, if Derek or Daniel, do you want to rock paper scissors it to see who goes first if you want to, or if either of you want to say I'll do it, or
I can make people angry. I'm okay with this.
Okay.
Remember, grind my gears was a segment last season, and Tacoma, they got a lot of it. So I'll go first. I'm fine with that. My ranking might be a little different because I'm actually going to root for the dark horse. I'm going to put Lincoln as number 1. And here's the reason. Unknown team, good owner, Mike Gall. He knows what he's doing. He was a perfect scout for Jacksonville. They're now in the hunt for the playoff spot. I think they're going to make playoffs. They're 7 wins, I believe. Kenny Slider, one of the highest rated quarterbacks that we've seen. He's even higher than Gene Struthers right now, rating-wise. Never thought I'd see that because Gene Struthers has been in for 2.5 seasons. That's cool. Logan Lee is fairly good as a running back. I wouldn't say he's the Randy Squarebushes or the Brad Jones, but in this diminished running back season or league, he's right up there. Lottie Lou, we know he's a good possession receiver, and their defense, I'm a man who loves defense. I think their secondary is outstanding. I hope their secondary kills it. So for me, Lincoln, I'm going to put number 1. Sorry, Navigators. I loved you last season. I can't root for you again this season. I can't do it. My heart can't do it. So I'm going to go Lincoln 1, Navigators 2, and I know Madison's are the champs. I know I'm going to get a little flack here with Axel, but your defense needs some work. And throughout the season, that defense will get better. So right now, I'm going to put them 3. But we know what happens as season goes on. Anyone can win.
Yeah.
And I still have hope for Joe Boo McSlim.
All right. Appreciate that. Derek, your thoughts on these 3 teams?
Oh, man, you put me in a tough spot here with Madison and Annapolis. I honestly, I think I might go with Daniel on number 1 because looking at it last year, watching the games last year, the teams that you saw in the playoffs, pretty much all of them had great defenses. And that defense looks like it could really change some games. I think they're a team that's going to get a lot of turnovers. And I would probably put Madison second because I think that they're going to tear it up on offense. Defense is tough, but you got a whole season to progress. They're going to get there. Annapolis is third, but I think these 3 teams I think they're all going to be playoff teams. I really do. So third, when you're talking about playoff teams, it's not bad. But I think the reason why I say third is I think, and I saw it last year, where teams would, towards the end, teams would key in on that run game, and that's where they would lose. It could be different this year with better quarterback and more receivers, but yeah, that's where my head's at.
Sure. My tough take. Let's see if I can.
Madison's number 1 for Axel.
You know what? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't want to be biased, so I'm trying to remove myself from that. I feel in helping these guys progress and seeing the simply looking at them, not as many bronze and they're fresh, but I think a lot of the key players like CB number 1, FS number 1, our inside linebacker being bronze coming back, Mike Mello as defensive end coming in really early in the preseason. I think they may not be bronze, but they're inching their way maybe closer than many of the other copper players, maybe on the other team. So they may, though they're white, the numbers, their backgrounds, I think they're better than what they are. And again, with Jaden Swift at the helm, hopefully that will do well. Again, let's see, but I have to say Lincoln does look really good. They're going to be tough. Logan Lee, like you said, Daniel, he's not Randy Squarebush. Randy Squarebush is a power back, different type or different style of running. And Randy Squarebush just came into his own last season. It took him 2 seasons to get up to where he was plowing people over. Logan Lee being a finesse, I feel like they have a little bit more success on the field at lower ratings, and we saw some of that during that game that he was able to do little spin moves, and that seems to be very powerful out there on the field. And like you said, Kenny Slider coming in for a second season with Lottie Lou, and if they get a third wide receiver out there, I think that's going to be spell some danger. Brian Murphy has a solid tight end coming in for another season. I think this team right now they're like you said, they're the last year's Grizzlies preseason, right? They seem like the ones to beat right now. I want to say Rattlesnakes might be the ones right now for me in this group of 3. They have a really solid crew, right? I think it's kind of tied. I just think it's going to be a fun season. It'll be fun whenever Madison plays Annapolis, with Jacob Clear previously being part of the Madison team, moving over to head up the Navigators. It's going to be sort of and he was sort of my mentor at Madison when I first started as an assistant. So it should be sort of does the student become the master kind of thing or whatnot. I think just because of that uncertainty and like you said, they have the 3 wide receivers, solid tight end. They've got Arain Darby, pretty solid defense, and Randy Squarebush coming in. I'd say it's a tie. I can't decide. I'd go Lincoln and a tie with Madison and Annapolis. I can't. Shoot me.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with the tie. Because before going into this, before looking at everything, I had Navigators as my number 1. Then I saw the Rattlesnakes roster. I'm like, wow. I didn't know Kenny Slider was a higher rated than Gene Struthers.
I'm wondering.
That blew my mind.
I wonder if he picked up an animation maybe in the last couple weeks or something as well. We could take a look.
Someone just said in the chat, Dark Eclipse Moon. Slider and Lee look better on paper because they added animations.
There
you go.
Must be quick release or something.
And now, as we know, animations early can hurt them in the long run. So we'll see how this goes.
Especially, if you almost skip silver or you jump directly to gold from silver without really filling out. One benefit that silver has is that it's a great place. You only get 1 primary point, but you get 3 secondary. So if silver's a great place to fill in your secondary traits and things. So don't rush through that either. So even if you do take an animation, from bronze and put you into silver, don't go too far and focus there on at least trying to make yourself a balanced player and taking that into consideration. Daniel, did you want to, or both of you, did you want to, so we talked to Tacoma, Ottawa, and the flight last week. Do you want to pull them back? Do you want to rate them at all or with them?
Sure, we can do that. Oh my God, people are going to hate me by the end of this, but sure, let's do this.
Okay, so we had the flight. This is from last week. So there may have been slight changes over the last week with 1 week of progressions in there. But this is what they had last week. Again, JZ Bacon, standout. DJ Bandit is really good. Sam Blotner is really solid at the free safety spot. Really good defense, and they have a kicker. I think we almost took the flight as being a pretty solid offense and defense. Pretty curious on do you think they hold up against Lincoln? I think overall we all mostly thought Lincoln was the team to beat for these last three.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think a lot of people last week said the Flight was our number one or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking on paper at this, it's fairly close. They got J.C. Bacon coming back. Jordan Ship is right there. If you take out the animation, I think they're almost neck and neck, right? 4 points is animation, depending if it's a high value or low out value.
Yeah, 4 to 7. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty much equal depending on the animation. Wide receivers, Lottie Lou would be the bigger jump over the Viper, but that's not going to matter that much longer. Both have tight ends coming back. They have a fullback coming back versus they don't, and they have a free safety coming back versus I'm going to lean still on Lincoln because of
just how stacked.
Custer. Yeah, the secondary stacked. Look, they got a gold secondary.
It's Custer's last stand out there in the backfield. So
he should have been drafted last season. He was the best drafted strong safety that never got drafted. Oh no, he's the best strong safety period last season, and he never got drafted. So this is Custer's return to make a mark because he's this is a good secondary.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a lot closer than people realize with the Flight. And Flight had a down season last season, so it's going to be good to see them coming back and flying like an eagle. And
with Art Vandelay at the helm, there's a lot of possibility here as well. So, Derek, do you have any take on does the Flight stand up to any of your takes from what we talked about today?
Like Daniel said, I still think I would put the edge to Rattlesnakes. I think two good defenses, but having a gold in the secondary is that's a difference maker, I think, right there.
And a floater, as a free safety, being able to it's not like you're a quarterback where you're stuck really covering that single person. You're out there coming in from the back, being able to oh, I'm reading that ball, I'm going to go catch that ball. So cool. Ottawa. Here we see Ottawa again, a bronze cornerback coming back with Terrence Pearson coming in, Juan Mississippi, Dusty Work, Gus Scott. Again, a really solid crew returning, in two-way contract, and these bronze players coming in as well. Again, this is going to be a looking at this, I forgot what we looked at. What the teams were like. Was a really solid. I think they have a really good shot. I think it depends on how Cyrus Jive and their running back does, Dwayne Salmons. I think that's really how I think the defense will be locked down. Can the offense get going more than they did last year? Will they have a different game plan and such?
Yeah, I think I remember last week specifically saying that Ottawa, their defense is going to have to steal win. Because in comparison to everybody else, their offense is looking a little weaker. Salmon struggled in the preseason game. They lost one of their wide receivers that got pulled up to the Revs. So Tyson Burns is relatively new. He got a few progressions under his belt now. So that will be nice going into the actual season games. They have bronze secondary. This is a good team. I think their defense is going to have to steal wins, though. I think they're going to have to be the team that steals a game going late, neck and neck, to try and make some good. I think they'll be maybe a 500 team, maybe trying to sneak their way to the playoffs.
Maybe the defense will have to make more points than the offense will.
Yeah.
Derek, your thoughts on this at all?
Well, I hate to sound harsh, but I think the defense is going to be defending a lot of short fields. I just don't think the offense is there, and I remembering that offense last year, it doesn't look like it's gotten much better.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they did lose Scar Patterson too to that point.
Yeah, so a gold swapping a gold for a silver. Was Jive? I want to say Jive might have been a running back that's now switched to quarterback as a replacement for Scar.
I think Jive was on Memphis. He was Memphis.
Yeah, he was quarterback.
Oh, okay, so they merged. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. And now, team close to Daniel in my heart, the Grizzlies. We I think unanimously last week said they had the largest uphill battle. I think out of the group, just simply because of it's sad that Bear I can't remember Cuthbert, something like that. Quarterback was sadly missed a lot of progressions. So make sure you make your progressions, or else Daniel will be grinding his gears on you. Um, but they brand new Ty coming in at quarterback. We'll see how well he does, and I think I talked last week about how good wide receivers can make a quarterback look better than their rating. Like, if they're there, if they can catch anything that are thrown to them, whether that's a wobbly ball or slightly off put, they can, speed up, slow down, jump. A good wide receiver can smooth some of that out. So maybe they can do that. JB Elliott, I'm trying to remember. I think it's a pretty small back, if I remember right, but he's pretty feisty and was getting some yardage out there, but not quite as much as Logan Lee was. How not as much production there.
If I remember correctly, he was the one with the high knees, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they had really good production with T to Queen, so there's chemistry there at least until this new quarterback comes in. I'm assuming they're going to be the same chemistry. Bear had a few progressions in, but Ty is going to be relatively around the same rating.
Sure.
Same progression.
Not too much difference between them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to miss Bear because, great name. Perfect name for a team. But, this is the team that's going to struggle the most because this is the team last season we thought was going to blow everyone away. Mm-hmm. They had all the power, and then as the season went on, we found out, sometimes having a high-powered offense, it can struggle. And we saw that. Mm-hmm. And we saw that with the Navigators in their actual postseason. Mm-hmm. High-powered offenses can struggle. And that's why maybe it's on defenses to do stuff. And this defense struggled last season. And they did lose a lot of pieces. Like Earl Field being gone is going to be a big one. Orlando Grimm coming back, great. Good to see. I hope he does well. But this is the team that's going to be doing the uphill climb the most. And anything happens come season time, because everyone gets progressions in, everyone starts to get a little closer to each other.
Mm-hmm. Derek, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, this just shows what happens when you got a lot of good players on your team. It gets gutted by the draft. And this is a team that's going to have a rough year. But, I mean, sometimes you get progressions in towards the end of the year. They start getting hot, but sometimes that's just too little too late.
Yeah. And, I think it's an uphill battle. And I think it's one that it's going to take the right game plan to chug up that hill. And if they don't have it, they're going to be sitting at the bottom there for a little while, sadly. Again, as much love as Daniel and I have for the Grizzlies, you got to keep it real sometimes. So, I think so. We went through we went through 3 new ones tonight. We then look back at last week's. We've got 2 more left, and those 2 are going to be the ones that are playing the preseason this Friday. So we'll get a chance to see them on the field before we sort of do any analysis next week with them. So that's really, I'm excited. I'm putting together a little bit today and more tomorrow to sort of finalize the preseason game for them. So Albuquerque is heading to the practice field for Lexington to face the Miners. 7 p.m. Same bat channel, same bat time as tonight. 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here at the Axel Raven SFL Twitch spot. That's it for tonight. We've covered a lot. Thanks all, Daniel and Derek. Thank you both for coming in. Daniel for coming in when you're not feeling well. Really appreciate that. You sounded great. It feels like maybe you're able to talk your sickness away. I don't know.
I'm on the upstretch. COVID sucks though. Don't recommend it. 0 out of 10. Will not go back to it.
Yeah, and Derek, thanks for coming on. I just reached out to him earlier today. Saying, hey, if I'd love to have another person on here. So, thanks for jumping at the chance. Hope to I'd love to have you on every week if you want to. The spot's open for you. We'll keep the seat warm for you. You're joining us on Friday in the booth, so it'll be the three of us analyzing the game as we watch it for you all.
Do I need to bring popcorn for everyone this time? Is that just me?
Yes, please ship it to everyone who is in attendance tonight. That would be great. If you could just leave your address and $5 shipping and handling fee. Daniel, could you post your Venmo account information? No, I'm just kidding. Please bring it. Daniel, keep your COVID fingers in your own popcorn bowl. So no, I'm sorry. I'm feeling happy. Thanks. I enjoy my time with friends. So thank you both for joining me. Derek, any last words for tonight?
No, just thanks for having me, and I would be happy to come on any Wednesday that I'm able to.
Awesome, cool. And Daniel, any last words for you?
I feel like I should be Eddie Gage and go, I love y'all. But I mean, my passion is shows. I'm here under COVID watch. Got Symptoms Friday. I'm here doing this. This shows the passion that me and Axel and even Derek, a new person coming into the fold. This is the passion we have for the minor leagues. We're in the minor leagues, and now we're in the pros, but we're coming back. We're coming back to talk about you guys because we love it so much. So
you just showed up because I canceled last week because of COVID. You're trying to show me up.
Yo, that's 100% it. You should have been there for the game, you fool. We were missing out. But for the big thing, thank you to the interviewers that I couldn't interview. Thank you, Derek, for doing that on my behalf and on my behest, because my voice is still not 100%. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the field this weekend and Friday in the commentary booth.
That is absolutely right. So again, excited to see you guys on Friday. Be in the same booth with you all, friends. And let's do it. Let's get out there, have a good chat in the SFL Gen chat. Join us if you haven't. !Discord will get you the link to our Minor League Fights and Insight Discord server to join and chat. Please remember, don't forget to put in your predictions, your way too early predictions. We've got just a couple more weeks left until week 1 kickoff. Please do that. And again, if you're interested in coming on for an interview, reach out to us. We'd love to have you. Reach out to us if you want to be perhaps a co-host for a segment on the show. If you have ideas for segments on the show, we talked a little bit about that last week, maybe some trivia coming up or some other things coming on as the season of Minor League Fights and Insights continues. So with that, Derek, Daniel, thank you. Everybody watching, thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us. Appreciate it a ton. And we'll see you guys in Discord. Good night, all.
See you later, guys.